Hi, this is Vasily and you are watching painting tutorial. Let me show you references. Okay, back to cinema. I will start from the path. I need a spline tool, go to the front view and draw a straight spline. Okay, select this, change type to linear, intermediate point to uniform, and change this to maybe red high. Go back. Now, when this spline is selected, you need to create an instance. Switch to select tool. Now, holding Alt button, create sweep NURBS, and holding the Shift button, create inside. Let me change this radius to maybe 80 and size to 2, and change intermediate points to uniform and let it be 20. Now let me show you wireframe what we have. We have pretty dense shape along path and not very dense shape along with width. Now I would like to duplicate this spline instance. It would be a rail. Move it here. Let me change this to spline part. It would be spline rail. Now here in sweep NURBS, disable this checkbox. Okay. Now I would like to deform my path. I will make this using plane effector with point deformation mode, and in the fall-off I will create a random field. Let me change scale to maybe 2000. Also I would like to disable this checkbox and create a range map. Minimum output to -100. Let me flatten it a bit. It would be my global deformation, so I don't need this too high. Where is it? Okay, that's good. Let me name this as a path deform. And now click the rail spline and holding Control button, create new plane effector. It would be our shape deform. And I will do almost the same here, but using the shader field. In shader field I will drop in noise. Go here and change noise type from noise space from texture to UV. Go back here, change the deforming of the points. Go back to fall-off, disable the switch box, add range map, and set minimum output to -100. This effector will deform our shape inside. We just need to decrease the strength. Good. Okay, what's next? I will select this sweep. It would be my paint shape. And holding Control button, I will create a matrix object. Change mode to object and drop my sweep NURBS here. Change distribution to polygon center. Okay, let me disable view of sweep NURBS. And when matrix object is selected, I need one more plane effector. Just don't forget to hold Control button, so plane effector would be created below the matrix object. Let me name this as a, I don't know, shape, maybe form. In the parameters, disable position, disable color mode, and enable the scale. Let it maybe be scale by 2. And now in the fall-off settings, I need to create again shader field, create noise here, go here, change space to UV map. let me add some contrast here. Maybe I need to show some follow, just to see how it differs from each other. Or maybe I will change inside to maybe 8. Okay, what's next? Now I need to wrap this matrix object into a volume builder. And I will change voxel size to maybe 2. And select this matrix object here. Check the particle size and reduce radius to maybe 5. Okay, now we see what our shape having pretty different hair size of a brush, and it changed along with us. Okay, we will add smooth deformer here. That's okay for now, I believe. And let me wrap this volume builder into the volume measure and disable wireframe. Maybe I would like to increase the size of the noise along the path. To do it, I will just increase this to maybe 300. Now it has a better paintbrush look. That's all for the general shape, and I will go here into a matrix object. Maybe I need to disable these volume measures, and when matrix object is selected, just click plane, drop it here, and let this be our tip animation. Okay, now I will create a driver for my animation, and you know I like to use some parametrical formula fields, and maybe I need to show initially how my field would affect my cloner, so I will create MoGraph tag, MoGraph weight map, and select this, enable fields, go to the field section and create a formula field. Where is it? Yeah, and type just V here, and that would be our direction from the beginning to the end. That would be my animation direction. Now I will create a curve. I will shrink this. Let me right click on this and click reset, so my spline becomes linear. Let me shrink this, and maybe hit Ctrl D, increase maximum time to 300 frames, and now go back here, and we will animate this offset. I believe we need to animate, yeah, this one. So it would start from 100% and it will be ended as it here on 0.8, it's like 80%, so we have size of 20% for this curve. So we need to put here a minus 20%. Okay, let me show you how it's animate. Okay, now it's too regular. I would like to change this just by adding maybe shader field again. And here I will change this to subtract. Drop this shader field here under a curve, and into the shader I will drop in noise. Go back here again, and I need to change space to UV. I would like to increase dramatically this size to maybe 2000. Let's see. Currently it's too irregular, and I will decrease this. Yeah, good. Now you see what my animation goes from the full yellow shape to a full red shape. It means like initially there would be no painting, and during animation it would be fully painted. And let me just select everything and create a group field from the selection. I will drop it here. It will be my driver. And this driver I will drop here as well. Now disable color mode, disable position, enable scale, and set this to -1. That's good, but I would like to shrink that range a bit, just by resetting this spline and changing this parameter, maybe. And I would like to make it a bit softer. Just select both these spline points and hold right click and choose point type as is. That's my tips animation. I would like to duplicate this. It would be maybe FX, and I would like this effects to increase my scale instead of decreasing. And I will need to drop this effector here, and with effector go to fall off tab, select this, and I need to increase that range. Something is happening here. We need to enable measure to see what's happening. We see what our tip looks pretty soft, and after tip is scaled down, we see that paint bulb here. It's like add some realism here. Let me leave it, and maybe here we need a random field with overlay mode and pretty much scale. Yeah, now we have some irregularity here. What's not enough here is like we would like what our painting is falling onto that surface, imaginable first surface, and we need to duplicate this effector and let me name this as a fall. I will remove a new suffix here, and this fall I will disable scale and set position here to maybe, I believe it's minus z-axis, maybe -50, and again in the fall off setting, or maybe I need to drop this plane fix here. It is wrong. I will change transform space to effector. Okay. Shape become better, just go to fall off and we will change this somehow like that. Again, select both these nodes and select point type is to smooth it out. And also I would like to add some curve here. Again, duplicate this effector and change this suffix fall to maybe curve. The parameter section, right, I believe it's -x. apply this effector to my matrix object. Okay, now its shape is looking much better. And maybe we just need to adjust. Sorry. Need to adjust that shape. Somehow. Maybe increase this value. It seems pretty much like a brush. Or maybe not. Let me just fine tune it a bit. Yeah, that's right. We're almost done, and what we would like to do here is like our paint, as during it's getting dry, it has to be affected by gravity, and I will duplicate this plane effector and rename this to gravity. Let me change transformation space to effector, and this has to be negative. Drop this here as the last effector, and maybe we need to change this a bit. Let me delete everything and drop formula field in a full offsetting. Let me create a curve here, reset it to linear. I would like to flip it vertical, and I'd like to animate this from 100 to maybe minus 100. Minus 100, and now select both these spline nodes and change point tab to easy ease. I believe we also need to change this parameter to maybe minus 10, and I would like to stick my top level of a paintbrush to the same level as it was burned. So I will create a mask. It would be like formula field, and to make a difference, this would be named as a pass, and this would be named as a width, and this would be a U from UV map. And actually I would like to set the splendid mode to multiply. Let's see. I would like this to be inverted, and as my U parameter goes from 0 to 1, to invert this, I need to make this as follows. Just type 1 minus U. Let me check again. Good, and maybe I will increase the scale to say 0.2 value. So my paintbrush is falling down and scale is increasing. Currently I see the issue that my curve animation was reset. It happens from time to time. That's some issues from max on, I suppose, side. Let me animate this again. And maybe some adjustment here. Light effects option. I would like this to be wet. Okay, now let me disable view of everything what is not required here. And maybe this, and go here. Now, currently we have a straight paint, and we would like to change this to a different path. So I will disable currently everything and draw a new spline using the spline tool. Let me select a linear type, zoom out a bit, and let me draw wet kink. And go to spline path and spline rail, drop this new spline here. Now probably need to increase intermediate point, uniform, 512, and enable my matrix object, just to see if everything goes well. I believe there are some issues here. We need to just enable this and see what is happening. I think it works fine, except what now our paint is longer than it was before, and this size of a fresh paint is too large. So we will shrink this, just go to the driver object and decrease this curve somehow wet. And now we need to adjust this value. Maybe it's still not good. Maybe I need to select both with keyframes and set point types to ease in. That doesn't help. Okay, we have some issues when our path is changed the direction, and I believe it's because of this curl effector. It's because our transformation space stays effector and our curling happens not along the path, but it happens just in global space. I will change this to no. Let me see. Doesn't work. Maybe, yeah, let it be 80. Let me enable view. Okay, and here we have right hard turn point, and here, and let me create material. Into the texture I will drop effect normal direction, go to wet shader field, change first color to red, and change second color to maybe blue. And I will drop this material onto my sweep. And what issue I see here? When paint goes from left to right, we see the front polygon side, and when it goes from right to the left, we see the back polygon. And that's why our clones have some issues here. So I believe we just can fix it by going to that curve, go to fall off, and we will add sort of maybe spherical field. What would be a mask for our effect. And here we just will multiply this, and inside of spherical field itself we will change this to invert. Oh, we don't need to do it. We'll go back. It's almost fixed. Now enable our builder. That seems fine, and you might be able to change this behavior by additional fine tuning. But the main issue what we can solve when we draw that complex shape is that when our brush is coming from the left to the right, and then from the right to the left, we need to remove visibility of our clones, because the new paint has to override the old paint. One issue here, it's like we played too much with the randomness. Go back here. Now maybe we are too much of that clones. I would like to go to my original spline and reduce this to maybe 256. Let me check if nothing was broke. It's still fine. Maybe just reduce this to 200. Okay, that's still fine. Disable this currently. Just change visibility. And it's time to remove that weird effect just by adding my new effector. Working title is a Major Effector, and into the fall off tab I need to place a field what will set priority for my clones. I will use that field here, which is telling what these clones have a less priority and these clones have a bigger priority. And if the same clones stay, if different clones stay in the same place, only one clone what having a higher priority, only that clone will remain visible. Okay, go to the user data to fine tune it. I prefer to set the clone radius the same as defined here in volume builder. It would be 5. And maybe it's better to just this profile sort of flat. And minimum difference, let it be maybe 5. It's 5%. What is 5%? It's a let me show on that example. Remove it, drop here. It's saying what in a radius of 5, if clone differs from its neighbors by 5%, this factor will take in place. If the difference is less than 5%, that cloner have no effect. Why it needs to be adjusted? There's some case, for example, when you set it too low, the neighbors of clones might be hidden. What is a not wanted effect. But again, yeah, we need to find appropriate value, and maybe this 2.55 is good enough. And what's next? I have a 2 regular track here, so I would like to go here and shape deform, change trend to make the difference even noticeable. And the next point is I would like to increase clone radius by maybe 10. 10 is too much, maybe 8. And maybe, yeah. And now you see on that turning point and here only new paintbrush track is visible and the old is overwritten. How it looks like after the meshing. And it looks like the new paintbrush is overlaying the old paintbrush. Let me check what was broken, because now I don't see any animation at all. Maybe, yeah, it's again, sometimes it happens, the curve animation is reset. Currently I don't see any effect of paint laying down on the wall, and that's because my Major Effector is breaking my animation. So I need to change the difference to maybe 1%, enable it again, and maybe 1.5. You have to play around with the values to achieve better results. But in general, the effect is done. And maybe my gravity effect is not working because of that switch. Go back here in the value. Let me reset it, flip vertical, and set this to continue. here, and this option will allow me to keep the same animation as I defined here, but my paint shape would be affected by gravity during the whole animation. You see what until the end it's still falling down. Okay, I think it's time to adjust our shape a bit. Let me just disable measure for a while. Go to a front view, choose the last point, move it here. Let's check if it works properly. It seems good enough. And let me also finally disable that work plane. Put this into the middle. And I see some unwanted effect on the border. Maybe I just need to decrease the clone radius to maybe 7 or maybe 6. Check this option. Not needed here. I need to play with this option to get how it works. And currently let me leave it as is. And I wanted to show you how to colorize this. There is no option to have a UV map for the generated volume mesh, and we can translate MoGraph clones color to our shape. So I see only a few options here, and I will show with an example how it might be done in the Redshift. Let me create a material, apply this material to our shape, and the first option is to use ambient occlusion. Sort of it. And the crucial option is to use the invert normals. Let me show how it works. Drop ambient occlusion here, enable, and you see that our thin parts have a black color and our thick part has a gray color. We just need to maybe add some contrast here. I believe we need to use a ramp. Let it be scalar ramp. Drop it here. Go here. And we need to just shrink with range. And after that, this color ramp might be used as a source of regular ramp. Drop it here. And we can just blend between, saying, red color and blue color. Differences are notable, but maybe not to contrast. Just need to go here on ramp and shrink it even more. And we're almost the same option we have when we will use a transparency in our material. Transparency, I mean with refraction. And here we have a transmittance option. when you change color to maybe red. Currently we don't see any effect. Let me close this, disable this for a while. We need to have a background object. Let it be a plane with Z orientation. Let me have some big plane, and let it be just segment 1 and 1. And I'm going to top view. I just would like to show you what currently our brush is coming behind that plane, because that plane is staying on Z position 0, but our shape is coming negative Z position. So we also need to create a cube. It would be our clipping cube. Let me increase its size. And this would be our clipping shape. I need some precision number of 50. I mean some precise number. And let me drop here in the volume builder, and here in settings just change union to subtract. Now let me show the render view. That's how currently our transparency works. And when using the redshift, it's crucial to have our transparent object to be not intersected anyhow with the background object. Otherwise we will have wet artifacts. So we need just to move plane by a fraction of a centimeter and go back to our shader. Just need to adjust that observation to maybe 0.5. After that it looks like maybe a blood, and the same effect as inverted ambient occlusion. The thinner is shape, the more transparency in it, and that thick shape we have a lot of depth in color. Okay, after some time I improved this setup. I made the roughen edges on the beginning and on the end. It looked more organic. Where 2 additional effectors have been added, with shader visibility begin and end, and that plane scale begin end. It's actually these roughen edges. And you need to know, to render that animation, you have to cache your matrix object. That's a limitation for Python effectors. So that's all. You will find this in the attachment. Have fun, good luck.